The songs can be done in different ways, and we've done them in different ways over the years, but we've never really kind of gone all out on looking at them from an acoustic point of view.
This is the way I think we should work. And this is the way we used to work on the first 5 albums.
And I realized that if we're actually going to do it, it is now. Well, we've been asked or been playing with the idea of the natural idea of doing songs acoustically, like an unplugged session, and it's been sort of on the table several times for a very long time. And this time around, we kind of, I suppose, made sure that we didn't lose it on the way, but it nearly didn't happen again, because we're all very busy more or less all the time, and to find time to focus on something like this, which is a pretty demanding process, is not an easy task. I think Norway was one of the options that were obvious to us from the start, and there's been a number of places that have been sort of on the list or on the table, and we've ended up in that process picking this place. This is an exotic place to a lot of people, as it is to us.
This particular place is not home to any of us, but it's very familiar. And that familiarity is something that you can really only understand the weight of when you're away from it. Is part of who we are and why we make the music we make, why it sounds the way it does. Some of the old material that you do again, and that you sort of find new things on, I think is quite exciting.
It brings you back to the early days of when the songs were made as well, because when they're being tested against some strange arrangement ideas by Lars, we have to try and fight our way through it and find out, is there a way to make this work in a credible way for us, that way we recognize ourselves. And in that process, you get back into where you were when you were doing the song initially and why you were doing it that way.
It's going to be very cool to take this for the tour next year. It's going to be nice to play this stuff for a bigger crowd. Here it's going to be super intimate, but there we're going to have to sort of deal with the usual concert halls and try to make a different atmosphere than we normally do.
1, 2, 3.
It's a lot of stuff to go through. We played so many different versions of these songs over the years. You have to sort of unlearn all those versions and then remember this one.
But Lars, the producer, he's kind of commissioned to challenge the songs, to challenge the arrangements and find ways to attack them that obviously are challenging to deal with for us. And out of that, and out of the contest between us in this, between us and Lars, and or rather initially one of us against Lars, and then all of a sudden all three of us against Lars on certain things, has made it very clear some of the things that do unite us, and one of the recurring things is that we need a kind of simplicity with the songs.
Da prøver vi en versjon som et forsøk på å gjøre det litt cleanere. Mer mood da. Nei, altså på slutten der. Oh baby. Du venter med å... Så venter jeg på meg, så gjør det. Oh baby, og så... What will... Men da kommer det der kommer, ikke sant? Da skal du høre hvor det kommer, og så... Ja, jeg må legge... Men den andre akkorden må jeg legge før du synger. Ellers blir det rart. Den første... Du bare avslutter. Oh baby. Men det er det første jeg gjør, ikke sant? Ja. Men jeg gjør det ikke kanskje så kjapt. Nei. Det må jeg kjenne på, og så svarer du. Og så skal jeg svare. Jeg tror ikke jeg skal svare. Ja, svarer du.
I'm kind of the singer here. I have no idea where to start singing. Because you
get that slap on the back of your head.
I have the violinist next to me saying, now. Because she reads the notes, which I don't.
Does she say now, or you should have been
last,
no, the last part, you should have been.
Now. You know,
this would be a good time to start thinking about.
She's starting to sort of make sure that I'm in the right place.
Samma som originalen, ja. Okay. Nei, en tone.
Nå har vi lagt ned når vi spiller her, i forhold til hvor vi pleier å gjøre. Ja, det merker jeg hvordan lager toner, for jeg bruker mer luft for å spille lavere toner.
Some of the songs are being done at a lower key, so they've been transposed down. Really, I was wondering if I was short of breath because of Summer Moved On, for instance, has been taken down a whole note. That whole note means that I need a lot more air to hold if I am to hold a very long note, which is air I don't have. I also need to breathe at a certain point every now and then. But I either have to expand my lung capacity or
let
it go.
We have an air pump next to the piano.
Up my arse, yeah.
And I also think it brings out new sides to some of the songs. I mean, when you do something as kind of up-tempo and poppy and frantic as Take On Me in the down version, it brings out what essentially is there in all our songs, a sort of a underlying melancholic structure. And that's not always apparent in all the recordings in the past. Certainly that song is perhaps the most extreme example of a sort of a poppy, happy aha. But now you can actually hear that it does belong to the rest of the songs.
hear it. It has certainly a surprising side to it because you hear it differently. But at the same time, I think you would recognize it also intimately because it's been there all the time.
Matters what you do, matters what you say, it matters that you lead the way. It matters what you think.
But it is great to sit in the same room, like, you know, we can sort of, we can do things super fast, you know, we can figure out a part and, you know, it's almost like we know what the other guy's going to be doing.
It's a brilliant band.
Into the, you know, so that is a very good way to sort of rediscover that, yeah, it's still like clockwork in a way. When it works, it just sort of falls together very quickly.
Because we've kind of carefully structured our schedules to never rehearse together. and now we're stuck in a room.
Musicians like that.
No, I feel the same. I'm sitting there sort of thinking, I actually like this band.
Men där har du 10 med tur.
And then I'll be yearning for this too.
Vad kan jag ge mig på this?
Ja, motorn ligger jo i det Morten spilte. Bim, bom, bim, bom. Det har vært refreng.
You know, certain things are important for us in the band, and that becomes clearer when there's an outside voice coming in. And I think it also has sort of made us more aware of that we actually do like the same things. we sort of all pull in the same.
Reasons why we are in the band.
Yeah, all of a sudden we're pulling in the same direction. It feels kind of alien and familiar at the same time.
She sound to sleep, and she's sweeter now than the wildest dreams could have seen her. And I watch her slipping away, but I know I'll be hunting high and low. There's no end to the lengths I'll go to, hunting high and low.
It's almost a sort of a sweet thing because we're all of a sudden we emerged united.
It's just really confusing because we're so used to disagreeing that when we agree, we're all like, whoa, what's gone wrong here?
through the dark. I sensed the pounding of her heart next to mine. She's the sweetest love I could
Totally
find.
amazing, totally amazing. Actually been super smooth, and it's just I feel like we've never been, well, it's a long time since we've been so kind of in sync, you know. So this has been a super pleasant experience.